lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking about Black Canary #1. And while this is not the first series that she ever had, it was the miniseries that preceded this one. This was the first ongoing that she has. So there was a 4-issue miniseries that took place before this, but this is the one I wanted to talk about because I think this first issue, it's so good. It's such a great entry point into the character. But before I get into it, I want to remind everybody, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Throw those comments down below if you dig our videos. Make it known. Let us know. We love the support. We love the feedback that we get from you guys. And also, check out the rest of the vids. You got interviews, indie creator spotlights, dives through single issues, collections, hardcovers, absolutes, artists, all that good stuff. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe. And now let's get into this issue. So this is by Sarah Byam and Trevor Von Eeden, who is such a dope artist. Such a dope artist. Went through his Green Arrow run that he did. Mike W. Barr and Trevor Von Eeden did a Green Arrow run, 4-issue miniseries. It was awesome. Make sure you check that out on the channel as well. Then he goes on to do some Black Canary work, which makes sense, right? But it is almost like 10 years later because that miniseries that I just mentioned precedes Longbow Hunters, which is then by Mike Grell, which leads into the Green Arrow run of, late 80s into the 90s. And, Black Canary was a major focal point. Obviously, they're in a relationship, so she was a main focal point for Longbow Hunters. She's always been in the Green Arrow book. But now she has her own title that's running concurrently with that series. So I dig the logo. This is my favorite Black Canary costume. I think this is, the fishnets. That's what I've come to know her as. While the first miniseries was really good, I really dig this one. This one, this arc is called Hero Worship. This is part 1 of 3. She's tracking this teenager with a mohawk to a bar. I just love, first of all, the art is insane. I love his choices that he takes, that Von Eeden takes. Very cinematic. I love the way that this is one image broken up into the 3 panels and just seeing her in a silhouette. And we get this inner dialogue of her saying I don't know if I don't follow her, she may not last a week. If I do, I may not last the next 15 minutes. Is this why we love it? Despite the heartbreak, the frustration, this one moment of clear, simple action that chooses what we're made of. To know with certainty in that moment when your values are tested with your very body, even your life, what will you do? I guess I know. And you get this amazing. I love. You don't really see them doing that this cannonball jump. Trevor Von Eeden is just an underrated artist. I love his Green Arrow stuff. I really love his Black Canary stuff too. And I think it reminded me. Cartoonscape Up did an episode on Black Lightning, and I believe Von Eeden was the artist on that too, and them kind of giving that shout out, it kind of reminded me of how underrated I think he is, and definitely not talked about enough, but super talented cartoonist. And she tracks this girl, she follows her into the bar, and then what we have throughout this issue are these flashbacks. And now we get this flashback with her dad, when she's 15, and we get this nice little moment. This is before she's Black Canary, and she's talking to her dad and stuff, and he's a security consultant, and he's trying to tell her we can't expect the police to fix communities. They won't take responsibility for it. Can't ask them to protect and serve if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. She's like, oh, you and mom did. She's like, yeah, well, don't mention it to your mom. Then we get back and she's again following this girl, and we don't really know why. It's leading her into something else. This dude that's also kind of keeping tabs on her grabs her, goes to take the gun, and we get this dope scene. We get this really cool action scene of Black Canary charging him in the back and preventing that bullet from hitting this girl Sally. And then she pulls out the blade and goes at this guy and just runs. And this cop's trying to put her under arrest, and Black Canary's like, no, don't do it. And then we get another flashback. So we get to see the contrast of what she's doing, and kind of how she talked about why do we do it? Why are we motivated to be heroes and fight crime? And so we get why, right? She had that moment with her dad. Now she's being trained by Ted Grant, who's none other than, she calls him Uncle Ted. That's Ted Grant, aka the Wildcat, right, from the Justice Society. And all those members of the Justice Society she looked at as uncles and aunts. And as he drops her, she uses her power. He's like, oh, if somebody pulls a gun, I'll just do this. And he reminds her, like, hey, what if this bad guy has a special laryngitis gun that eats your sonic scream? You can't rely only on your powers. Now work. So he trains her. Like, yes, she has the power with her sonic scream, but she's got to be more than that. And, she takes out these cops, and they think, you can shoot me, but I'll make sure that you won't live to hear the charges. And what does she do as the other cop grabs her? Boom, does this great flip. A lot of Alex, I don't know. To me, I see a lot of Alex Toth in Von Eden's work. And she said, she's like, I warned you. I'm not resisting. You guys are a mite trigger happy, don't you think? And so she tells them, what she's doing. She's like, she's basically like, you're shooting an unarmed schoolgirl. It's like she had a knife. She's like, yeah, well, in this neighborhood, I would too. And they're living, this is in Seattle. This is in a, bad area of Seattle. And, she ruined their stakeout because there's all these complaints on that bar that they were at. And she, she apologizes, but, you got bigger problems than a sloppy neighborhood tavern. Come here. And she takes him down the alley and shows him this homeless guy, and he's got this booze in there, but it's been laced. And so now this is turning into a drug bust, and that's where Dinah is kind of leaning towards, because it's a third body this week, and it's a pattern that she recognizes. And then again, we get a flashback to when she was a teenager. There was this pole fixing operation that she became aware of. And she is going to end up stealing her mom's costume. She's spying and she's learning all this information, decides to take matters into her own hands. And so they gathered up local bums and winos, and they were keeping them like trashed basically so that they could fix the poles. She talks about being young and idealistic, and she just wanted to, serve truth and justice the American way. And so she takes the costume. She says it's the first time she liberated her mom's costume, and she has to like tape it down because the outfit doesn't fit. So just very funny that she like goes out in her mom's costume. This is the first time she's in the Black Canary garb, and she goes and tries to save this dude, and this guy just basically, what I can only imagine is like snapping the neck. And she goes after, she's chasing them, and realizes that she's too late. They've escaped, and then we get back with Sally, and she's also trying to run from what we're led to believe is this same guy. But yet he's saying she's done a brilliant job and you deserve a reward. Great first issue to this ongoing. While it only lasted, I think it only lasted 13 issues, which super sad about, but it was such a great, this whole first arc was really good. I'm only going through issue 1, but we get, part 2, the cover for that, and we get, the cover to part 3. Very striking covers. Really dug this one for issue 4, which was like a one-off before it goes into the next arc. But highly recommend checking these out. I just wanted to go through this first issue for you guys. Didn't read it when it first came out. This was another late pickup. I read that Von Eeden Green Arrow, and then I was like searching for other stuff by him. Discovered he did Black Canary. She's one of my favorite characters, so had to pick this up. Hit those back issue bins. Hit up eBay. You won't be disappointed with this. Get the miniseries that leads into this. I know I got to pick up the last issues that end this run because I just absolutely loved it. And while you're at it, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.